I've worked with SNAPPAC since before I got elected the first time. And I'll give you an interesting stat. There were 40 members, Democratic members, who won in '08 with less than 5% of the vote. 2 of us survived 2010, Gary Peters and Jim Himes, and that's entirely due to SNAPPAC. So I highly recommend, I'm kidding, obviously. It was partly due to SNAPPAC. But more than anything else, it's been terrific to work with this group. I thank you for supporting them. These are smart, engaged, thoughtful young people who are getting involved in our political process. And I can't tell you how important that is, particularly today. Chris Murphy and I see every single day the results of disengagement, of not particularly thoughtful politics, and frankly of people not paying close attention to what is really going on. And of course the young people involved in SNAPPAC are the antidote to that. We see this in 2 ways. You all saw Congressman Ryan's proposal, and you know, we are all Democrats, I think, in this room, or at least democratically inclined in this room. And you look at that proposal and you see what it is that we need to be opposed to. This is a proposal that would shift the risk and the burden of providing every American with health care off of the federal government onto the states and individuals. There's no magic there. It's a very lazy proposal to just say, it's your problem going forward. The Ryan plan increases defense spending. This is $800 billion a year that we spend, a number that is more than the spending of every other country on the planet combined. And Ryan says, let's spend more. He also says, let's continue the process of cutting taxes for the very wealthiest and pay for those things by reducing the number of student loans, by reducing the investment in our transportation infrastructure. This is their proposal. It is clear where they stand. And the Democrats and the progressives need to mount a values-based rebuttal of everything that Ryan has proposed. He's characterized as courageous. I think that's going a little far. Look, I will give him credit in one area, which is we have spent months now looking at non-defense discretionary spending in the budget, about 12% of our budget. Ryan has said, let's have a broader discussion. I think I probably speak for everybody in the room when I say it's not the discussion we want to have, but give him credit for saying it's not just about non-defense discretionary. Beyond that, there's nothing courageous about his plan. It is very contrary, I think, not just to democratic values, but to fundamental American values of fairness. Last point, and here's why SNAPPAC is important beyond just promoting progressive values. And Chris will attest to this. We live in a world now that is driven by a new majority in the House that is interested largely in smoke and mirrors and fundamentally does not believe in the seriousness of the act of governing. I'll tell you a story to illustrate this. As you're all aware, one of the biggest sticking points 2 nights ago at midnight was the defunding of Planned Parenthood. This is a social issue that the Republicans have been pushing for a very long time. Defund Planned Parenthood because they perform abortions. Now everybody in this room knows that Planned Parenthood, about 3% of their money, and not a dime of federal money, is spent on providing abortions. 97% of what they do is HIV screening, cancer screening, and education to provide women with the tools and the knowledge that they need to make smart reproductive choices. So I get into a discussion with a so-called Tea Party freshman in the House about 3 weeks ago, and here's how the discussion went. I said, look, I get it. I'm pro-choice, you're pro-life, we disagree, I respect that disagreement, I get it. But if you're going to gut Title X and do away with support for Planned Parenthood, pretty much everybody agrees that results in 1 million unintended pregnancies every year, half of which end in abortion. This policy will increase the number of abortions in the United States of America. Why would you push that? Don't we both agree that that's not a good outcome? The answer was, because Planned Parenthood performs abortions. And I said, wait, I'll speak more slowly. What you're proposing will result in 500,000 more abortions every year. Do you think it's a good idea? Planned Parenthood performs abortions. This is the nature of the dialogue. Look into what underlies much of what they propose. Look into Ryan and you'll discover that about 5 years from now, Ryan is saying that we'll have 2.8% unemployment in this country. Economists are rolling in the aisles over that proposition, right? It is a lack of seriousness about the act of governing at a time when this country needs to make decisions that are difficult and values-based. So for that, I really thank SNAPPAC for getting a group of people involved, engaged, educated, really the next generation of leaders who will, we hope, assume a more serious tone and be in a position to deal with the challenging issues that we face in a thoughtful way.